Zacks Screen of the Week, an overview of a timely stock screening strategy aimed at helping you produce more profitable investing results. Another interesting stock screening strategy coming up here, this one about the market being cheap right now. Joining me, as always, Zacks Maestro of Stock Screens and head of the Research Wizard division of Zacks.com, Kevin Matras. Well, I guess a couple things come to mind here. Looks like it's getting cheaper by the day, sometimes even by the hour. And how cheap can it get?
Well, I mean, it does seem that way. It seems like it's getting cheaper all the time. Of course, the cheap I'm referring to right now isn't necessarily about price, although looking at, what's been happening over the last couple of weeks, I mean, that could certainly apply. But what I'm really talking about here is valuations. Whether we've hit the market bottom already or not, the market really is downright cheap. If you were to look at the PE ratios for companies in the S&P 500, you can see they are near their lowest levels in 5 years. And if you were to look at the median PE ratios, the median PE ratios are currently 56.2% below their 5-year high and 38.2% below their 5-year median. Now, this coincides with the market recently hitting its lowest levels in a little over 5 years as well. So the market, in my opinion, is pretty cheap.
Down over 44% from its peak from last October, is that correct?
Yeah, I think we're down 44.4% from its peak last October. And
funny,
what's interesting,
that's what I said.
What's interesting is that if you were to look at the 10 worst market declines from the 1929 crash to the present, the average bear market drop has been minus 42.8%. So with the current bear market having dropped 44.4%, I mentioned that 0.4%.
Right.
With the market currently dropping or having dropped 44.4% already, this puts us pretty much near the bottom of the average historical low bear market.
All right, enough of this falderall. Exactly what kind of a screen are we talking about here?
Well, the screen I am running today it's trying to find companies that are considered to be relatively cheap, but that also have good growth prospects in front of it. So the screen starts off by looking for companies with estimated growth rates that are greater than their 5-year average historical growth rate. The next key item in this screen is I want the ratio of the PE divided by the 5-year average PE to be less than or equal to 0.6. And what this really means is I'm looking for PEs to be more than 40% below their 5-year average. And then another key item that helps really round it out, putting good quality companies on your screen, I want the companies to have a Zacks rank of a less than or equal to 2, which means only strong buys and buys are allowed.
It's pretty straightforward, pretty simple, I think,
yes,
even for someone like myself. So, an example, as always, of a stock that came through the screen.
Yeah, one of the stocks that came through is a company called GIII Apparel. Ticker symbol is GIII. And GIII, they are in the textile apparel industry, and they design, manufacture, import, and market an extensive range of leather and non-leather apparel. If you were to look at some of their valuations, first off, they came in with a Zacks rank of a 1, so that is a strong buy. Their projected growth rate is 25.23%. I think that's spectacular with what's happening in the marketplace. Mm-hmm. Their trailing PE is only 18.89. This is in comparison to their 5-year average PE of 30.86. And if you look at their forward PE, their PE using their F1 earnings estimate, that PE is only 11.96. So I think the stock is very attractively priced. I think it looks pretty good.
And do you, or does anyone in your house own this stock? He asked, if in a compliance-driven way.
I do not have the stock.
Okay. We do that for disclosure purposes. You can read all about this week's screen and see even more stocks that came through it by linking to it off of our homepage at Zacks.com. Remember, the key to successful screening lies in discovering those screens which have produced profitable results in the past. And Kevin uses the Zacks Powerful Research Wizard stock screening, backtesting, and reporting software program for all of the screens that he talks about here. And by the way, he creates all of these screens that he talks about here. Learn more about that, the Research Wizard, that is, at Zacks.com/Research Wizard. With Kevin Matras, the maestro himself, I'm Terry Ruffalo.